Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
I'm Josh, the other host.
And joining us today is returning guest and friend of the pod, Annika Falconer. Hi, Annika. We are here to talk about the Ultimates 2 once again after a while, where last time we talked to Annika, it was about the first 6 issues of the Ultimates 2, and we have also gone and discussed the original series before, so if you haven't heard those episodes, go back and listen. And if you can't tell by now, this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel. It's an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000 that was meant to modernize, reimagine these characters for the modern world, the 21st century, specifically when they were published in the early 2000s. That includes series like The Ultimates, along with Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four. So generally
Yeah.
what we like to do on this podcast is just talk about a handful of issues at a time. We're going through rereading these series, talking about what we like, what we might not like so much, what still holds up, and what hasn't aged so well, and ultimately how this influences a lot of Marvel in their comics, along with other media like TV, movies, animation, yada yada yada.
Yeah. And we've been doing a lot of special episodes recently. Last week, I believe the Spider-Man Noir retrospective came out, and a few weeks before that, we did a DC Animated Universe retrospective.
Yes, those were both very fun episodes. So
Yeah.
for those of you listening who may not have heard those, please go back and check those out. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been told there's been some people I've met who only watch our special episodes, I've been told, at the gym.
The gym?
Yeah, at the gym.
That's not a crossover fan base I would have expected, but that's cool.
No, it's because there's a poster at the gym, of the local gym in LA, about our podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you put that there?
I did. Oh, I kind of put that up. I gave it to the guy who works at the front desk, and he put it up.
Nice.
So,
You're
yeah.
out here, grassroots, getting the word out.
I know. Yeah.
Way to put the word out there, Josh.
I know. And some people said not really interested in the Ultimate stuff and really love the retrospect. And I'm like, sad to know, but also good to know.
Yeah, so the Ultimate Universe isn't for everyone. Sometimes it can be a little overly edgy and a bit of its time. Case in point, today we're talking about more of the Ultimates 2 by Mark Millar and Bryan Hitch. We're talking about issues 7 through 10, near the end of this miniseries. And what'd you guys think of these issues?
It was fun to dive back into it. I feel like it's been so long since we did 1 through 6 that I kind of forgot, and I had to go back and refresh. But it was fun. I feel like things got a little dark, and the Ultimates are kind of struggling in these issues. So yeah, things are very serious, but I like how political it stayed throughout this series so far. But yeah, it was fun.
What about you, Josh?
Same. It's been a while because we've just been reading and doing so many other kinds of episodes. I did have to refresh myself a bit. It's interesting, and surprisingly, I know you guys might disagree. It's the least horny of all the comics we've been reading recently.
I said I agreed with you.
Thank you, Annika.
Just as far from what I've read,
the audience does not know. There's a sex scene, and it's still the least horny in the last few episodes we've done.
I could have done without the scene
cuddling
that we're going to talk about. Yeah, the cuddling.
Thank you.
I feel like the other issues that you guys have had me read have been way more explicit. So
yeah, I agree. This does lean more into the political side of things and less into the horny melodrama side, which is kind of a welcome relief.
It's like Gossip Girl too, in a way, where there's a lot of sexual tension and it's about romance and relationships, but it doesn't really focus that much on the banging.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. I just finished a Gossip Girl rewatch.
Oh, I've never watched Gossip Girl.
So
then how can you say that,
but I'm
Josh?
glad you're speaking to it.
I saw one episode. I saw one episode of the original series. So
was it the pilot?
It was the pilot.
Okay, because that's not what the show is. So.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like,
I think you and I were talking.
Why are you talking about a show that you've never seen?
I'm the only one who's seen it, and I disagree with everything.
Well, there was a free episode on when you bought an iPhone way back then, iPod. It came with a free episode of Gossip Girl, so I saw it.
Really?
But, yeah,
it did.
It did.
That's wild. I didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, but I
yet
really
another instance of Josh speaking on something as if he's the expert without ever actually doing the research.
I mean, I wanted to hear where you're going with that, though. Like, comparing this
I
comic to
couldn't-
Gossip Girl. I was like,
I couldn't
okay,
think
let's
of
hear
a
it.
good enough similarity. I think the closest one I think I should have said is Ultimate X-Men, but you haven't read it. But
Yeah.
in the sense that like a lot of the fun stuff is just the personal relationships and drama between the characters.
But I like that you're trying to relate to me.
Thank
My
you,
Gossip
thank
Girl
you.
knowledge. I appreciate that.
I feel like, have you even watched Sex in the City, Josh?
That one I actually have watched a few times.
Okay,
Yeah, we
'cause
talk about that
you
one.
talk about that one a lot, like you are a genuine fan. So it would actually shatter my hopes and dreams if you had actually
I've
never seen
watched
it.
that
I would be
episode,
devastated.
and I watched that show in junior high, high school, and college.
So good. It's such a good rewatch. I watch it all the time.
I didn't like it in junior high or high school, to be honest. I never understood it.
I feel like you have to be a little bit older and more mature
Yeah,
to understand it. I mean, that it was that way for me. I think I had to wait till like college or beyond to really like get into it also.
I think I do actually enjoy it more as an older person now that I understand a few more things
Yeah, about life.
about life
Yeah.
and rent and
And rent and shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is very much exactly how I feel about the Ultimates too.
Nice
I
segue.
I don't know, I really enjoyed diving back into these issues because it had been a while, like you guys are saying, and it took me a sec. Luckily, they talk about previous events enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I remember that previously with like the Hulk seemingly being executed. Although if you listen to our Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine episode, you know that's not the case. About Thor being like imprisoned and everyone saying that he's delusional and he's not really a god. And there's the traitor in the Ultimates. And then the big overarching idea, of course, about Nick Fury and the Ultimates kind of losing control a little bit and kind of going too far in terms of imposing their will and their metahuman military might on the rest of the world, and
Kind of trying to take over the whole world.
yeah, kind of using the Ultimates and superhumans as weapons that for international conflict on a global scale, which is causing problems for the rest of the world and later for them, as we'll see in these issues.
yeah, I think it's also very, though we're kind of going back to it. I think you and I have made the joke a lot when we first started this pod. A lot of things have not aged well, and then they aged perfectly well, like within a few months.
Yeah. It's like some of this stuff is a little too relevant today, actually.
Yeah.
It's a little too real now.
Got scarily real towards the end with these issues.
Yeah. Because so much of this just has to do with post 9/11, like Bush era American politics and foreign policy.
Yeah, and the Bush years was dominated by unilateralists who thought like you can just do whatever, and now those guys are saying it's gone too far now.
Yeah, which is so scary when you think about like what's happening now, and those people are saying like, "Whoa, this is too much." Like,
somehow it's worse.
We've gone way too far.
Yeah.
So these are going to be very fun to talk about. I think we've preambled long enough. Let's just dive into these issues now. Speaking of, issue 7 dives like right into it. Opens on the Ultimates raiding a Middle Eastern nuclear facility. Almost all the Ultimates are there. Everyone's doing their part to disable the defenses of this place. Captain America and Quicksilver evacuate the place and disable the base's defenses. And then there's just a giant fucking airstrike on the base.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, then they also send in like their reserve members that we saw in the Ultimates annuals. So you see like a bunch of like super soldiers and Iron Men go along with
the Giant Men.
Yeah, the Giant Men too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of men.
Yeah,
what's with
a
all
lot
the
of
men? Like,
I mean, that could be part of the problem.
Where's the giant women? You know, where's
so
the Iron
true.
Women?
Technically, women were not allowed in combat yet in this time period, I believe.
But there are like female Ultimates. So.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch is there.
Yeah. She's like representing for all women. She's carrying the weight of the world.
Yeah,
I think
I know.
around this
So
time
true.
in the early 2000s was when like there were allegedly nuclear missile silos in Syria and Israel was bombing them. So probably a reference to that.
Again, a little too relevant to today.
Yeah. And of course, this is right after we just invaded Iraq, allegedly for having nuclear weapons, which we found they didn't have.
Quote unquote weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, we did do that.
I think you could tell this in the sense that if you look at Nick Fury in any comic we read, he wears a leather jacket, maybe a suit, kind of looks like a pirate. Here is just in camouflage. So
yeah, he's in like military wear, right?
Yeah.
He was representing the full military might of the United States with his superhuman weapons that he's just flaunting around and throwing at different countries.
Yeah. But he still looks like a pirate. you know, because the
Yeah, the eye patch is
Whoa,
still.
let's not be ableist here.
you called him pirate,
Bro,
not me.
yeah, what you
All I was
literally
talking
just
about
said
is
he looked like a
clothes.
pirate.
Because yeah, you wore
eye
like a
patch
cape.
is clothing. It's like part of your ensemble, you know.
It's part of his medical equipment. Whoa.
Is it? Does he really need it?
He needs something to cover up if there's nothing there.
Well, don't be ableist. Why should he have to cover up?
Well,
He's
because
beautiful.
so he doesn't get infected. Because there's a hole there.
He can
Okay.
cover it with anything, but he's chosen pirate. Like,
Nick Fury really just always wanted to be a pirate deep down, and I think we should acknowledge that.
Get him a puffy shirt.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Captain Marvel movie where it's revealed like a cat just ripped it out while he was petting it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I saw it a long time ago.
I don't hate the Captain Marvel movie like a lot of people do, but that is actually stupid. That part is so dumb. That's how he lost his eye? Are you kidding me?
I was in Britain when I watched it, and me and a guy got raging drunk to watch that movie. We had a blast.
Nice. You and a guy.
I'm very happy for you too.
Thank you.
Was he also drunk, or was it just you being wasted and him sober?
There's no way I was the only one wasted.
There's no way.
That's what they all say.
Okay. Yeah.
Famous last words.
You just don't remember because you were that drunk.
Yeah, possibly. I do remember the movie, so I wasn't that drunk. Scarlet Witch takes out a lot of the nukes, and she's worried about making a mistake, which is something they brought over to the movies. But also, they do something weird with her powers in this one, where where you're not sure if it's like a mutation thing or magic or something else.
That's true in like the main comics too. It's like a mixture of, well, they retconned it out of being a mutant thing a few years ago, but I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, especially because they came up with her powers right before they did it, and then they got rid of it.
Yeah. So can you explain like what her powers are exactly? Because to me, it seems like she can control like the outcomes of the future or something, depending on probability. But like, yeah, I don't know what it's.
Ultimate Comics, I think that's what it is. But like, there's no way you could go, I changed the probability of you to become a cat from 1% to 90%. I don't understand how that works. In the comics, it was also not sure, and the writers found what it was recently-ish, where they finally said, actually, she controls magic. Her dad controls metal, so she controls magic. And then they just said she's not a mutant anymore, so that was never her power. So it's always vague.
She controls magic? She's not magic, but she can control it?
Well, here's the thing. She wields chaos magic is the whole thing. It started out a lot smaller than that in like the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby days, where it's like, oh, she can put a hex on people and she can manipulate probability a little bit. And then eventually over time she became more powerful, and then it was like she wields chaos magic, which can be uncontrollable.
But then they said actually chaos magic is not real, something she made up. So maybe she's just controlling reality. And then in 2018 or so, they were like, no, her dad is Magneto, who controls metal, and she's a mutant that controls magic. And then they said, actually, she's not a mutant, so her powers are in flux again.
So they just keep like retconning her powers and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of retcons and changes, and
a lot of the decisions are based out of money, because until recently it wasn't sure whether she's an X-Men or an Avenger character, and because those properties are split up between
like
the movies,
franchises.
Yeah, in the movies, it was a fight over who gets what. So
okay. Did they both want her, or did they both not want her?
I think they both wanted her and Quicksilver, because they both were under the X-Men and Avengers umbrella, but because Fox had the movie rights to the X-Men at the time, they kind of like split custody of like Quicksilver went with the X-Men side of things, and Scarlet Witch went with the Avengers side of things. And then in the comics, as a big F you to Fox, they retconned it so that like, oh, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver aren't mutants actually, and they're not even Magneto's children. So big middle finger.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the deal with the Scarlet Witch. We could do a whole fucking episode on that.
We should do an episode on the Scarlet Witch. I love the Scarlet Witch.
I know you do, because you keep calling her Lizzie O in the script, you horn dog.
Is that her real name, Lizzie?
No, it's Wanda.
Elizabeth Olsen, who plays the Scarlet Witch.
Right, okay.
Anyways.
Wait, can we talk about how Quicksilver, like, fat shames Captain America?
Well, it's all muscle, man.
Funny.
Yeah.
That was, like, my favorite part.
Yeah, because he literally carries Captain America out of the facility, like runs with Captain America on his back and like topples over because he's like, this guy's got to be 350 pounds.
Yeah, like he's pure muscle. Leave him alone.
It's something I do like where there's always a joke that speedster will take you out of the danger, but if you think about it, speedsters don't necessarily have super strength, so
Yeah, he's just fast. That's it.
Yeah, like it makes sense. He can like run really fast and he could carry you, but like it would be hard if he's not strong enough.
Yeah. I believe in 616 they said his legs have super strength, but not his upper body.
That sucks.
Well, then you'd think he'd still be able to like lift from the legs, right?
Oh, that's true.
You'd think he would be able to carry 350-pound Captain America.
He's just got to do more bicep workouts, honestly. More upper
just
body
do
strength training.
Arm day every day.
He could do it in like 2 seconds too. So like there's really not an excuse.
Depends
He's
if you
just
think
slacking.
his arms have super speed, because I think in 616 they canonically don't.
That's
Wait,
crazy.
what? So just lower body is super,
Yeah.
upper body is normal man.
Because he's a mutant, he used to be a mutant, so his body is perfectly designed to run fast. So his lower body is super fast, so it has super strength, but his upper body doesn't.
Anyways, moving on, then after they've done all this, then the civilians near that facility are all getting moved out onto trucks, and they're like, we have food and shelter like 10 miles. But like this image of like Captain America like yelling at civilians and telling them to move, he looks like such a thug. He looks like he's really just like a weapon of the American military, just tossing civilians around. It is like, yikes. It's a bad look.
It's not a good look. It's a PR crisis for the Ultimates.
Yeah, I'm like, eesh.
Yeah.
And speaking of PR, then we cut to outside the Triskelion, where you can tell that they're holding Thor, because then you see a bunch of protesters with signs demanding Thor's release after he was arrested at the end of the last few issues.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, let him go.
Seriously.
You're locking him up just because he's a god and you don't believe him?
We all know he's telling the truth, like, right? We all know that.
That being said, Nabeel does not speak for the rest of us.
You would lock him up?
I'm sorry, you don't agree with protest, Josh?
No.
Peaceful protest?
Peaceful protest is fine, but I wouldn't protest for his release. He's a dangerous hippie.
There's nothing dangerous about him.
What do you mean? He just wants peace and love. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I didn't like the cultiness or the when he had like the little cult in the woods doing mushrooms.
Well, he didn't do that, right? They just gathered and he was like, I don't know, I guess.
Also, they weren't doing mushrooms. Where did you get they were doing mushrooms?
You see a cult in the woods based on the guy who says he controls weather. Mushrooms are obviously what comes next.
So you've been in a cult in the woods, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I worked in the woods many times. I wouldn't say I ever did mushrooms in the woods. I have been to like a community-owned farm, and mushrooms were involved in that one.
And did you partake?
You're just digging yourself into a hole, Josh.
Not of the drug kind.
So just like regular, like shiitake mushrooms?
Yeah, what?
Oyster mushrooms, but...
Okay.
So you just had it with your dinner, is what you're saying?
But the other people were growing mushrooms for, who knows what.
Well, maybe Thor's people were also just like eating some oyster mushrooms. You don't know.
I don't trust them. It's best to lock them up.
Maybe they're vegetarian.
Man, yet again, Josh speculating on something that was not even on the page. Also, with the clickbait, there were mushrooms involved, and they were just at the dinner table. Like, what? You're making it sound like you did some serious drugs, and then you're like, nah.
We were ready for a story, Josh.
I didn't do the mushrooms, but there were definitely certain kinds of mushrooms involved in that.
I don't believe you, but then we see Tony Stark visiting Thor, the Triskelion, and it's nice that he's like reaching out, trying to mend fences as a friend, but Thor is shaming Tony. He's like, yeah, good for you for like attacking a developing country and like throwing your military might around.
Yeah, he basically calls Tony like a mindless pawn in all of this. I think he's kind of right.
Yeah, he's got a point. Like, he's definitely making some good points, even though Tony's like, oh, but there were nukes involved, and Thor's like, yeah, but like the US is the only country that's ever actually used them, and you're working for them.
And of course, this was people being critical about the Iraq War, which just happened when we did invade Saddam Hussein's Iraq, because we said there were nukes, but there weren't.
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen them, like in this issue, we've seen that there were, right?
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't mean that you can just like go and attack other countries.
Yeah.
Because you see something like a weapon, because that just gives other countries the right to attack us, and like, it's just
so it's just going to be retaliation.
It's a slippery slope.
And foreshadowing for there will be retaliation. Believe me, it's
There's
gonna
always
happen.
blowback, baby.
That's what she said. So
Ew.
Thor like then just continues to go on his rant talking about how he's the god of thunder, and I'm like, well, you're not helping your case here because that just ends the discussion and Tony just leaves. I'm like, all right.
In Manhattan, Janet's having lunch with a man.
We know which man because she says the line, I can't believe I'm having an affair with my ex-husband. And she's
Janet.
getting lunch with Hank Pym, her ex-husband, who was physically abusive.
I have no words for this woman. Janet,
And I'm
what are you
like,
doing?
honey, no, why? Just because you're having
Honey, no.
relationship problems with
Ugh.
Steve Rogers means you're going to go to your ex-husband and complain about it? What?
Janet. I wrote in my notes in all caps, ew.
Like, why?
Ew,
I mean,
just
I
ew.
get it. There's
don't get
the realism to the fact that like in real life, so much of the time, like people in abusive relationships will oftentimes go back to their
Will go back,
abusers,
yeah.
as horrible
And I
as
get
that is.
Yeah, it makes sense, but also I'm just like, girl, you were out of there. And also
Yeah.
she's dating someone else, so I feel like she should sort some things out before
Yeah.
entering into a new relationship then.
Yeah, it's like two things. She didn't tell Steve, who she's with now, that she was doing this. And she's there complaining about Steve, going on and on about how it's basically like dating your grandfather and like how she can't take it anymore. And I'm like, you're complaining to your abusive ex-husband? What?
It's in like sunglasses and like Hank is in this hat, like they're trying to hide, and I'm just like, it's nasty.
Like, you guys know you're not supposed to be there.
Hank looks a lot healthier than he was in the last few comics. He looks like he's been eating, working out. Yeah, he is.
He's talking about a mysterious new job that he's got. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Yep.
Not good.
I find it interesting. All the women in Shield, they portray them as like kind of being horn dogs, not able to keep it in their pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have thoughts on that when we get to like the explicit scene and stuff.
Cool.
But like, for this scene too, I was like, wow, there's some intense close-ups on both of them. Like, I think more on Janet, but honestly, both of them. It feels so like intimate.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know.
Pretty nasty.
Janet is not happy being in the Ultimates because they said like they brought in the Giant Man and Wasp is scoring lower than them on like the PR points.
Yeah, they're like being ranked now by the public.
Time for Giant Woman. It's time.
Yeah.
It's just like what you were saying, Annika.
Please bring her back.
No one's going to notice if you're the Wasp. You got to grow.
I feel like, what about Giant Wasp? Like, why not?
Well, you know, the thing is, I grew up reading the Marvel Adventures. There was like this all ages, like mainly targeted at kids, like line of comics. And there was Marvel Adventures, the Avengers. And on that team, Janet Van Dyne was one of the Avengers in Marvel Adventures, the Avengers. And she was Giant Woman in that, not the Wasp.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
So it can happen.
She also could grow, I believe, in a few other iterations. In that horrible Avengers cartoon in the 90s, Wasp could grow.
Why was it horrible?
It was bad.
It just wasn't good.
United they stand.
Yeah. I love the costumes. She could grow in the other Avengers TV show, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and in the comics, Hank eventually creates a woman's shelter and becomes the Wasp.
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
It was a good redemption arc for 616 Hank that he had in Dan Slott's Mighty Avengers, and then later on in Avengers Academy. Yeah. But when he's on the Mighty Avengers, he's leading the team and he's the Wasp because I think the Wasp had died. And so he became the new Wasp to honor her.
Yeah.
Well, he needs redemption, so.
I think it's because the writers of Marvel were like, we made a mistake by making him a wife beater. The Ultimates took it too far, and then we went all in on abusing the crap out of him, and we kind of feel sorry for him at this point.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for him at all.
Not this Hank, not Ultimate Hank. No, yeah.
Yeah, but I think 616 Hank was revealed, he's like Times Mando Ear, he gets the Nobel Prize in Physics, and it turns out it was someone pretending, it was an alien pretending to be Hank. So the best Hank there is isn't even Hank.
Imposter.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone is actually watching this conversation at lunch between Hank and Janet, and that's going to get them in trouble. We cut to Hawkeye's place after this dinner that Janet was talking about that they have at Hawkeye's place with his family, which sucks that we don't actually get to see the dinner. I actually would have liked to have read that, like, dinner party at Hawkeye's family's place with, like, Steve and Janet and Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. Like, the awkward dynamic there would be
I don't
so
like the
fun to read.
incestual context of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, though.
I
Right,
mean,
because
no
they're
one
related.
likes it, but don't you think it's like a car
But
crash
you
you
want
just
to
can't
see
look
it,
away
you
from?
sick freak.
Well, not in
I draw the
isolation,
line
but
at incest.
hey,
That's
me
where you draw
too.
the line.
I'm just saying, a dinner party with the Ultimates would be so funny to read.
It does sound fun,
Like, come
but
on.
I mean, for what
Yeah,
happens next, I'm kind of glad we didn't see like everyone talking and laughing and having fun, because like what happens right
Yes.
after was devastating.
Yes, because Hawkeye's wife Laura is talking about how, did you notice like a tension between Steve and Janet? And he's like, nah. And she's like, okay, Hawkeye. And so it's a very wholesome, very domestic vibe going on. You know, they've got like a security detail at their house, and Hawkeye's like getting coffee ready for the security guys.
because he's a decent person and regular.
Yeah, even though he is one of the Ultimates, he does know what it's like to be in the position of those guys because he has been that guy.
Yeah, and there's a knock on the door. His wife goes to answer it, and she gets shot in between the
Yes.
eyes.
Yep.
And a team goes in, and they get Hawkeye. They blast all of his children, but while Hawkeye's down, he picks up the kitchen utensils and throws them.
It's a pretty cool moment for him because he's like, you shouldn't have thrown me in the kitchen. And he's just like throwing forks and knives at them. And
It was cool. It was super violent though.
Yeah.
It's just spoons in people's eyes. Like I didn't need to see all of that.
But I do like that take on Hawkeye. It's like what makes him different from Green Arrow. If you guys, if the audience knows, like the comparison is always between Hawkeye in Marvel versus Green Arrow in DC. But Green Arrow usually is just good with a bow and arrow. Hawkeye's good with anything. He's good at aiming anything you give him.
Yeah. I feel like that would also be true with Green Arrow. Just general, like, marksman characters, too. It's like that with Bullseye, the Daredevil villain.
Yeah.
Like, anything in his hands is like a good projectile because he's an expert marksman.
There's a scene in the Captain America Civil War movie where they go like, "What's up with golf? Like, I thought you retired." And he goes, "I was just too good at it."
Yeah, just can't seem to miss.
I mean, then why retire? You're at your top of your game.
Exactly.
But this is a big moment in the series because, yeah, horribly and horrifically, Hawkeye's entire family is murdered, and then Clint himself is seemingly shot by who we assume to be the traitor, and that's the end of the issue.
What a way to end. Like
Yeah, it's shocking. And I think it's also why when they adapt Hawkeye into the MCU and the Avengers movies, in Age of Ultron, they introduce his family. And I think for a while, people were speculating, like, if this is anything like the Ultimates, like, where they got this from, like, I wonder if they're going to actually kill off his family. Like, people were so nervous for a while.
And they technically did.
I mean, along with half of the universe at the end of Infinity War when Thanos snapped them away, but they came back with everyone else in Endgame.
And it's a very non-violent death, a snap, right? Like, this was horrific to read.
Yeah, they were like shot in the head. Horrible. They got their brains blown out. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, Josh, what is wrong with you?
Josh is like,
I just love your guys' reactions to their deaths. Look, if you're gonna die, there's not a difference between getting turned into dust or getting shot.
There's a huge difference.
No, there isn't. They're both horrible.
One is super violent, one is like falling asleep.
They both falling asleep are super violent. I don't want to be turned into dust.
You're a sadist.
You'd rather be shot than snapped.
It doesn't matter. I'm dead. It's fast and it's over. Like, how would I know the difference?
Because you would get shot?
You guys remember when Tom Holland Spider-Man dies, he's crying. He goes, I feel funny. I'm slowly turning into dust.
I don't feel so good.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm slowly turning into dust.
Well, I don't feel so
Mr.
good.
Stark,
Mr. Stark,
I feel funny.
Turning into dust. The iconic line that everyone knows.
Yeah.
They're both horrific ways to die. One's not worse or better than the other. I actually
disagree.
kind of prefer to get shot than turn into dust.
You're insane. You're actually insane.
We're going to take a poll on this later. Would you prefer to get shot or turn into dust?
Comment down below.
I believe I won the last
Favorite
one.
way to die.
No, you didn't. You lost by a landslide. It was the question of whether or not Nightcrawler is handsome, and people all like unanimously said he's handsome.
Was that the
blue guy?
The blue guy?
Yeah.
What did I say? I think I said yes.
You said you agreed with me.
Yeah. You were yes, and Nabeel was no.
No, I was yes. He's handsome.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what I said. I remember being asked.
You said I could see his handsomeness from a certain angle.
Yeah.
Which counts as a no.
I'm kind of on the fence. No,
Thank you. Which is a no.
More, but...
You lost, Josh. Just accept it.
I feel like it's more of a strong maybe yes.
Oh, okay.
But mostly maybe.
Very diplomatic of you.
Well, after watching you guys debate, I'm like, I don't want I don't want to be in the middle of this.
You don't want to take sides again.
No. The Paul debate
that was too
scarred
much.
me emotionally.
Yeah, that's all the debate you needed.
Yeah.
Issue 8 opens with Captain America in cuffs, which is interesting.
I mean, that's like the cover of issue 8, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always interesting because I think there's always that arc of like people think Captain America's a traitor and he's not. And this one, I'm like, well, in the 616 is never a traitor because he is just so honest and pure of a person. In this one, I'm like, it's the other way around. He is so unthinking. I don't think he's a traitor.
Yeah, he's like no thoughts, head empty. He's just like a mindless like grunt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like a really old man trapped in a himbo's body.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just a man out of time who just knows to follow orders and do whatever Uncle Sam tells him to do.
Yeah. Well,
in this version, anyways. In 616, that's not true.
Yeah, in 616, he is, I'm loyal to the idea of America, not just the country. He is what America can be, but isn't sometimes, oftentimes.
This one is very much like, I'm just going to follow the American government.
Yeah.
But yeah, the issue opens up with Janet waking up in bed, and she like goes out to the balcony, and Steve is there. Captain America's just like on the balcony talking about how he like couldn't sleep all night. He's like there just brooding on the balcony, drinking his black coffee like a real man, you know.
He's
damn
so
right.
moody.
And he's like, okay, so I know about you and Hank. And he's like, how could you do this? And she's like, what? Like, because obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. found out and told him because they were keeping tabs on them. That's who was watching them at lunch.
Yeah, because Hank is on a list.
Yeah. And she was like, I didn't even sleep with him yet.
Yet.
And I was like, oh my God, stop digging the hole for yourself.
It's so nasty. Janet, girl, what are you doing?
Not Hank.
Yet.
Yeah, she had plans for it with her abusive ex-husband.
Yeah, she's thinking about it. I can't believe she's thinking about it.
And I think the ending of this discussion is the funniest thing, because then Steve just yeets himself off the roof. And it's just a panel of him like jumping off the balcony while she's like, so Steve, wait, no. And then he just goes and starts running across rooftops because he's like, I'm out.
I literally was like, Captain America, no. You have so much to live for. And then he's just like...
He's like, I gotta get out of here. I was like, if only I could exit an argument that way. If I could just so dramatically jump off a balcony and start running across rooftops.
Yeah, it is a power move. It's a great way to just like end a discussion, like throwing yourself off a building. Like, what can someone say to that? Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, she could fly, so she could fly after him.
And she doesn't.
Yeah. At the Barton home, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are crawling over the place. They're dressed in their little, like, not hazmats, but they're wearing the little booties. They're wearing, like, the overalls. And Fury's like, there's a lot of dead bodies here. Baby Nicole's dead. I got her name tattooed on my shoulder. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah, he was her godfather.
Yeah, so which is a very human moment from Fury, which so far has been kind of a dick every single issue he's in, but like across the franchises.
He could still be a dick with a tattoo, but
yeah. But he's human this time. He's human.
Yeah, but now he's got to get that tattoo removed, which sucks.
Yeah.
Or he's got to like find another child to godfather named Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very specific.
Like Twilight.
Well, godfathering and imprinting are different.
See, I don't trust you anymore, Josh. Did you even watch Twilight at this point? This is Gossip Girl all over again.
He watched the first 5 minutes.
And I read the first book, and I went to the high school of Jacob, so you know.
Oh, that you always bring that up.
Yeah, because you guys keep bringing up Twilight.
Oh, I went to the same high school as Taylor Lautner, as Naya Rivera. I know celebrities, not really.
I don't know celebrities. I only have met one celebrity, and I didn't even know they were a celebrity at the moment.
So going to school where Taylor Lautner went to school equals knowing Twilight? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, that's wrong.
Anyways, Nick Fury has to find a new goddaughter now, and that's sad. But
he better get started.
Yeah. Well, he's looking for the people who, because Clint is missing, they presume he's dead, but they can't find his body. They find the bodies of the rest of his family, and Fury wants to know what happened, and they're like, well, they took down the security cams, and he's like, well, obviously I have backup cameras, so get them online and let's see what happened. And I'm like,
he says, okay. I got cameras in places you wouldn't believe, and I'm like, I bet S.H.I.E.L.D. bathrooms have cameras staring at you while you're taking a dump.
He says that out loud. He's like, I have cameras in places you wouldn't believe. Like, he says these words.
Yeah.
What a creep.
If I worked at S.H.I.E.L.D. and I like heard that, I'm like, ooh, I would not be happy about going to the
Yeah.
toilet anymore.
No, I would never. I would shower with clothes on.
Yeah.
Ugh, Nick
I'm
Fury.
like, I gotta delete my browser history. I
Yeah.
gotta like,
The things that I has seen. Ugh.
yeah, I gotta take some stuff off social media. Well, that wasn't that much of a thing yet at that point, but still.
MySpace.
Yeah, I gotta remove my MySpace
I
account.
mean, yeah, if it's out there, Nick Fury's gonna find it.
Yeah.
So you better like figure that out.
Yeah, I'm so fired. But then we cut to Steve. He's gone to his old friend, and quite literal old friend Bucky,
Yeah.
at Bucky and
Ancient.
Gail's place, and he talks to Bucky about the whole situation with Janet, and he complains about her in a similar fashion that she complained about him, like in the opposite way, like he's put up with all of her weird friends and annoying like conversations about what are we even, because they're of two very different times. And then it gets really sad because then he starts going on about how he doesn't really have any friends left, so he didn't know where else to go, and he's like breaking down in tears. And I'm like, this is
It was a nice scene. Yeah, it was really wholesome.
I think Bucky and Steve then talk about their mutual friends, and they're all dead, by the way.
Yeah.
They've passed on.
But it's a really sweet moment when, like, from the window, Gail's like, come on, give him a hug. And he does.
She's like watching them like they're a movie. It's so funny.
Yeah. Like, she is just like waiting for them. She's like shipping these two together.
And honestly, girl, same. Like, they're just dudes being guys out there, just hugging.
They are
bonding.
Eskimo
It was
brothers
cute.
in a way, because Gail is Steve's ex and Bucky's wife.
Yikes. Wait, what is it called?
Eskimo brothers.
Yeah, I mean, that
Don't like
term's
that.
problematic
That's not
thinking
PC.
about it, but
Pretty sure you have to bleep that out, Nabeel.
I leave in all the problematic parts, specifically because our listeners demand it.
Yeah.
The 15 of them that are out there.
I feel like if you bleeped out all the problematic parts, Josh just wouldn't be in the show. So
it would just be me.
Yeah.
And Micronesia.
Let's not bring that up again.
Call him out, Josh. It's a real country. Nabeel.
Every single time you say something silly, you erase it out. But when I say
Not
it.
every time. But I can't talk about Micronesia anymore.
Too many stories.
Fury has seen footage from the backup cams, apparently, and he's loading up with his SHIELD troops, and he's like, he thinks that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is the traitor.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, let's send the reserve Ultimates after him. We're going to take his ass down.
Yeah. He's like, he's a fake. I can't believe we fell for this Captain America trick.
Which, thinking about it, it is an interesting idea. Like, if they ended up going for something like that. Because he's right, the timing is a little too good to be true in the first Ultimate series. Right when they were trying to replicate the super soldier serum and get a breakthrough, he just happens to, like, be discovered from the ice. I'm like, yeah, it is a little too convenient, honestly, the timing. I would be suspicious. If they actually went that route, I'd be like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it would have been clever. Because it feels like they're poking fun at their own like plot convenience, the writers, when they're like, yeah, it is super weird. And it makes sense that characters would be suspicious of that, even if it kind of took Nick Fury an embarrassingly long amount of time to question it.
We're like halfway through the sequel series to this. Like, he has not thought about this at all. No. They've had several crossovers in between. We had the Ultimate Galactus trilogy. He gave zero fucks that whole time.
Well, he did know Logan, which is from the X-Men comics, where we found out there's an X-Men who's very, very old that Steve Rogers does know. So that kind of balances things out, though, in my opinion.
So he has a friend.
Yep. Captain America and Wolverine, old war buddies.
Yeah, but he kind of makes fun of them.
He does have friends.
I don't think they're friends. Because Wolverine doesn't remember World War II. And it kind of seemed they all made fun of Wolverine in World War II. They call him like...
So Steve bullied him.
Well, it's that there was a joke that you could shoot Logan over and over again. He just gets up.
Well, that's your dream, right, Josh? That's how you want to die.
No.
So.
Got him.
Yeah, I said, would you rather be shot or turned into dust? Because they're both horrific.
That's true.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I would say neither. But yeah, then we cut to the cemetery where Steve and Bucky are walking around, and Steve is kind of like bemoaning being a man out of time. He's like talking about how, like you were saying, Josh, he and Bucky, almost everyone they've ever known is like now dead. And he's like, at this point, like, why am I still here? And then that's the perfect moment for the Shield reserves to arrive and Nick Fury to come in and like attack him and try and arrest him. And you know what? Cap is actually doing a decent job in this fight for a while. He's like outnumbered like a zillion to one, and he's like kicking some major ass.
Until a helicopter falls on him.
Yeah, the helicopter
Yeah.
comes in and it's all over and crashes right into them.
Yeah.
Well, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
But what happens to Bucky during this? Because like, is he okay?
He's just kinda
He's
thrown
so
away.
old. He's thrown in the garbage.
His
Yeah.
throne, yeah.
Oh.
I think Steve gets him like out of the line of fire.
Yeah, because like I don't know if we ever see him like okay, and I'm like, did he just die because he's so old and his old frail bones just couldn't handle being like tossed aside by the
Possibly.
military?
And maybe he's injured, but I'm sure
Hope not.
he's still alive. He's probably
I don't know.
okay.
Characters seem to actually die in the Ultimates, for better or for worse.
That's true.
Well, I'm rooting for Bucky.
He's the most human and normal of all the characters, I will say.
Yeah,
That's
Isn't-
true.
Isn't he human?
He is human, but in
Exactly.
the 616 comics and the movies, he is a super soldier too.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sebastian Stan's character. Meanwhile,
Speaking of Gossip Girl.
is he in Gossip Girl?
He is, and you would know that, Josh, if you watched it.
Damn.
I know he's in Once
That's
Upon a
great.
Time.
He's in Once Upon a Time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he maybe left Gossip
For
Girl
to be
do
an Avenger.
that. Yeah,
I know he left Once Upon a Time to do Avengers. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Because then he got all big from doing the Avengers. But yeah, before that,
Yeah.
he was just like doing soaps.
yeah. So we got a cutaway to Quicksilver and Natasha, Black Widow, for some reason. She's putting on a wedding dress.
Yeah,
For a
she's
night
like
out, they
trying
said?
on. Well, she's trying on her wedding dress,
Not a
like
night
for
out.
her wedding to Tony Stark. And Quicksilver's there with the Scarlet Witch, and he's like just saying she looks ridiculous in this poofy dress, acting like a real fashionista.
Bro is so mean. Like,
Yeah.
let her have her moment.
Well, he has other issues.
Yeah, he's got bigger problems than just being snobby.
Yeah, he needs to work out his arms, apparently.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Janet's reuniting with Hank, and Hank immediately tells her to shut up.
Yeah, she's like, I finally left Steve, and he's like, shut up. And I'm like, this is a great start to their reconciliation.
Watching TV. Well, I was watching the news, but still.
Janet, we all tried to tell you.
The news is actually that her most recent ex now is being arrested.
Yep, and he collapses under the Captain America Memorial.
Yeah, it ends on this big splash page of the Captain America Memorial that he's like fallen under. And it's like this very sad, tragic piece of symbolism here.
Yeah, it was great. I wrote down Cap gets captured.
Ha ha.
Haha.
Boo.
I like that
Uh-huh.
one. I get it.
Thank you.
Come on.
I liked it too.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna say Cap gets capped.
Well, but no, he didn't though. He's still alive. He's still
Yeah.
hanging in there.
He just got caught.
He just got captured.
No. Just do.
That's probably
Rip.
wrong.
There's maybe next time, Annika.
I
Hey,
thought it was
hey,
fine.
Josh liked it.
Thank you.
Okay, is that really what you want?
Yes. In this moment, yes.
And look, 2/3 saying yes is a yes.
I just need one. Yeah, I just need one.
Well, appears I've been outvoted.
Thank you. Meanwhile, in issue 9, we start with Clint in this dungeon. He's being interrogated, and they said, "We're not going to kill a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent because you know too much, unlike your fat wife."
Like, whoa, with the, yeah.
Unnecessary. Again,
Yeah.
more fat shaming.
Reasons. Yeah, there was a whole fat phobia going on.
I also think in the Ultimate Comics so far, whenever there's a female character another character doesn't like, they just call her fat. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's like classic woman on woman insult.
yeah.
It was so easy. Things are so
And-
much more complicated now.
And in this is like kind of reminds me of the movie where like Hawkeye is the reason Loki's able to infiltrate the Avengers is because Hawkeye has all the info and you just find a way to get him to tell whether he likes it
Yeah.
or not. Yeah.
Because in the first Avengers movie, it was that Loki managed to like use the scepter with the Mind Stone to like mind control Hawkeye and get him to work for him for like most of that movie. And that's
Yeah.
how they got all the intel on S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. And here, it's because Hawkeye has been captured and tortured, and they are using their devices to like get all the information from Hawkeye's mind. And so they're extracting all of S.H.I.E.L.D's secrets from him. And they're like, obviously not a coincidence that we've taken down Captain America, Thor, Hulk. Like, now we're using you for all this information. So the plan is coming together, and S.H.I.E.L.D's downfall is imminent.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Tony Stark talking to his butler Jarvis, who is still being pretty catty and nasty about Stark's fiance, the Black Widow. And it's very clear to me that Jarvis is totally in love with Tony.
I don't know. Maybe it's just being a good friend because we find out he was right. Spoilers.
Well,
Yes. But
yes,
also,
I still think he's in love with Tony.
yeah. 2 out of 3, Josh.
What?
We win.
I don't like democracy.
That's not what Chancellor Palpatine said. I
Um,
love democracy.
I love democracy. This is the most horny of the issues so far, because we immediately, Tony Stark goes into his bedroom where Natasha is just laying around in her lingerie asking to cuddle, which is going to this trend in Ultimate Comics where everyone just wants to cuddle for some reason.
I think you're the one who's noticing a trend that is not even there.
It was there in Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, and it's in here now.
What's wrong with cuddling, Josh? What do you
Why
have
is it
against
constantly being brought up? And I just...
Why don't you like it? It's so nice to be held, Josh.
You're already sharing a bed.
Yeah.
Well,
so
are you if you're not cuddling? I mean,
Yes.
what's the point of sharing a bed if you don't cuddle, Josh?
Well, like, because a couple shouldn't sleep in different beds is my hot take. But
Well, if you're not going to cuddle, you may as well just sleep in separate beds.
no, just
Yeah.
sleep in a smaller bed. Save some space.
Like a twin bed.
so like forced cuddling because the bed is too small.
It's a twin bed, like when it's like two, like, isn't it?
Nope, it's just a small bed.
It's just a small, like, dorm room bed.
I don't know. I just feel it's a weird trend that's going on. I think it's because these comics are written by weak men who just assume that this is what people want.
I think you're just anti-cuddle. And we
Maybe
have to get
I
to
am.
the bottom of why.
You are totally anti-cuddle.
Who
and
hurt you, Josh? Who cuddled you wrong?
You just haven't been cuddling right. But yes, she does want to, because they're also talking about how, like, Clint is allegedly dead and she's grieving her friend and his family. And Tony's like, yeah, we can, like, delay the marriage if you want, of course, and the
I'll
wedding.
just have to talk to the cardinal, which is insane.
Yeah, they got a cardinal for their wedding.
Yeah,
Why
cardinals
not?
aren't supposed to be there for... Because it's implied that Stark and Natasha have been divorced multiple times, which cardinals are not supposed to be okay with.
Yeah.
Well, they make an exception for billionaires,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
if
the
you got
church.
enough money, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then, yes, then they just start having sex. So
Yeah.
they start getting it on.
See? This is because first you demand cuddles, and the next thing you know, you demand some action.
Are you saying that cuddling is a gateway, Josh?
It is a gateway.
All right, well, usually cuddling follows sex, so
I don't know about that.
I feel like that is the natural progression of events.
I don't know
Again,
about
this
that.
is why, Josh, you are doing it wrong. We found out how.
yeah, you got to do it afterwards. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Uh-huh.
And then the Ultimates are meeting in the Triskelion, and
Yeah.
Quicksilver is talking about how weird it is that things have been happening the way they have and escalating the way that they have in general.
And Scarlet Witch goes like, also our shields are down, just so you guys know. And they're immediately attacked by men in black tights.
Yeah.
Like they're flying at them.
Yeah, helicarriers are just falling out of the sky. The Triskelion is just wrecked by this destruction. And so it's like this big, like, series of, like, panels of just widescreen, like, blockbuster action scenes of just helicarriers falling from the sky and, like, destroying everything in their path.
Kind of like the
Yes.
Captain America, the second Captain America movie, where 3 of them just fall out of the sky and
Yeah.
onto each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot like that.
And while there's, destruction, there's a bang. Natasha and Tony are banging. Because,
Yes.
with violence comes sex, and with sex comes violence.
Unfortunately, that is true.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a disgusting close-up of their tongues, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
like is burned into my brain now.
And Tony
Yeah.
wants to get up, and Natasha goes, no, like, we got to finish this off. And this is the problem with cuddling, is that it just leads to this chain reaction of, like, yeah,
Why are you such a Puritan? I've always wondered.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Say it, Josh. What
Yeah.
do you have against intimacy?
Everything.
Okay,
Who
okay. Well, you
hurt
can
you?
go out and, like, start thumping your Bible out on the street once we're done with this episode, all right?
Oh, this has nothing to do with the Bible. But she then gets a gun out, and then she shoots Jarvis because he walks in at the wrong time, and Tony goes, Jarvis, and he goes like, and she just goes, he's a dithering queen, which is a little homophobic. But
Yep.
I did love how Tony asked for ostrich eggs, so Jarvis brings in quail eggs, which are very different from ostrich eggs. They taste very different, and he has a magnifying glass so Tony could feel that they're bigger.
And that's why he got shot.
Yeah, poor
Yeah.
Jarvis. He's just out there being his best self, and Natasha shoots him for a very homophobic reason.
I
Yeah.
feel like she would have shot him no matter what. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
probably,
Like, I just
but-
think they had beef to begin with, and
Yeah,
she
because
just was
Natasha's a
gonna shoot.
homophobe.
Well,
He is also the traitor. So
Yeah.
there's that
yeah.
big reveal.
She's kind of anti like Iron Man and all of these people, so I feel
Yeah.
like Jarvis never stood a chance.
But he also didn't bring the right eggs. And he's also gay, so that was a hate crime.
It's 2 strikes.
Well, the He brought quail eggs in the magnifying glass, which is kind of catty, and I like it. But quail eggs and ostrich eggs taste very differently. If you guys,
Yeah, I'm glad that you're focusing on what really matters in the scene, which is the eggs. Yeah.
eggs. Well, ostrich eggs are delicious.
I can't tell.
Okay, well, Tony will never get to taste them.
You know they're good because in the Harley Quinn movie, they do. Harley Quinn describes her ideal sandwich, and it is ostrich egg.
All right, well, the more you know.
Yeah. If you guys remember that movie, it was really good. It came out during COVID. She goes like, "This is the best egg. This is the best sandwich," and it's like an ostrich egg sandwich.
It's a fun movie. I'd give it like a B. Yeah.
B?
Anyways,
Okay.
then New York is getting attacked by a bunch of by a giant Iron Man armor.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that the Scarlet Witch saved the Ultimates, luckily, from the destruction of the Triskelion by teleporting the top 3 floors down to the ground.
And the fact she's even able to do this is a miracle. And she goes like, "I need to calculate the next way of protecting us, or the next moves," which knocks her out for the rest of the fight scene. It's a convenient way because she's really powerful. And also, this is when I googled what her powers were in the Ultimate Wiki. Ultimate Marvel
Yeah.
Wiki.
No one knows what's going on.
And I came off really confused because they gave an example of how her powers work, where they go like, she could turn someone into a newt, like a regular wizard, but to do so, she needs to do the math equation to turn them into a newt, which somehow confuses me even more.
Listen, it's probability manipulation, it's magic, it's a lot of things. I could not comprehensively explain the Scarlet Witch's powers
if
to
she
you.
didn't take high school or college calculus, she just can't use her powers? Is that it?
Hey, math has applications in real life after all, if she were in fact real.
That's what they told us in school, didn't they?
Yeah. Turns out you need them to use magic. Who
Yeah.
knew?
Yeah, if only they'd told us that in school, right?
That's actually Spider-Man, No Way Home, when he faces off against Doctor Strange and he uses math to beat him.
Yeah, but that one makes more sense. This one
He's
doesn't.
such a nerd.
Math, baby.
Math for the win.
I'm not good at math, but I respect people who are.
That's why you'll never be able to do magic.
Exactly. As much as I hate to admit it.
I got a job in math, and I hate it every day.
Why? Because you haven't reached the magic level of your job yet.
More like I just don't like doing numbers in my head.
That's fair.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's really funny because then what I really like next is actually that Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch are carrying the team for a good minute. Like, Pietro really takes charge. He just runs right into the danger and starts taking down guys. Like, he and Wanda are using their powers to take down a lot of their attackers. But then Pietro is struck by lightning, and a bunch of the giant men and super soldiers on the Ultimates are being murdered by someone who has Thor's look and powers.
Yeah. So that takes out. So the other side has super soldiers. The U.S. side doesn't. And Thor is in his cage going he's in prison. He goes I can feel someone stole my lightning and is using it.
Yep. And he's right. And so you see a whole coalition or organization together with Loki. And there's a guy in a red armored suit thanking Loki for his help, and they're talking about how they've subdued the new Roman Empire. It's this whole group of countries that have united and banded together against the world superpower, the US. Superpower being used also in a literal and figurative sense, since they have a bunch of superhumans on their side.
Yeah.
But it's people, there's Arabs, North Koreans, Russians, Chinese agents, all banding together to take down S.H.I.E.L.D.
The Great Satan, as they say.
And they also note, which I find interesting, that the Fantastic Four and the X-Men have been subdued too. The Fantastic Four are buried under the Baxter building. The X-Mansion has been sieged. So you got the other two big superhero teams taken care of.
Yeah.
But yes, like you said, Josh, they say the Great Satan has been liberated, and they topple the Statue of Liberty, ending issue 9.
Yeah.
So symbolic.
Not subtle at all.
Dude. And the Great Satan, I believe, is what I forgot, either Al Qaeda or the Ayatollah used to call the U.S. the Great Satan.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that lines up with what's going on here.
Yeah.
And the next issue 10, starts with a flashback to earlier, at the very beginning of the issues we read, issue 7, when Captain America is telling people to line up in the trucks after they took down that facility. And the people in these villages are upset, obviously, about how the super soldiers are just invading their villages and imposing their will on everyone, especially this young man named Abdul, who's going to be important later on.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of commentary from the people here about they're dismantling nuclear weapons, but they have a much bigger power in their possession that they're using to do it.
Yeah. I also don't know if in the Middle East we just grabbed villagers and put them and moved them other places, but I know that's what like people commented about during the Vietnam War when all these writers were like growing up, was that
Yeah.
the strategic hamlet program was when the U.S. military would just grab villagers and move them into like an artificial village 10 miles away. So but I don't know if we did that in the Middle East, but people's
We've done it all over throughout history. We just pick people up and put them in places where we think they can't hurt us.
So, this is relevant for the time it was written. This is unfortunately relevant now, and this was relevant 40, 50 years ago too.
Yeah. And Abdul, the young man, he sees this other not so young man telling him, I know a way we could get back at them.
You can say old, Josh.
I did say old. Did I not say old?
It's not a slur.
You said not so young.
Well, I wanted to contrast the two.
Well, that's very poetic.
Contrasting.
In France, meanwhile, it's noticed that like a cabal has formed like a counter to the Ultimates, the Liberators, and there's Crimson Denim and Abomination, who are Chinese. Hurricane and the Swarm are from North Korea and Syria, and which is dates it because now our current president loves North Korea, and Syria is kind of our marginal ally now.
Bitter irony.
Yeah. Perun? Is that how you pronounce it? Perun?
I don't know exactly. Perun, I would say.
Yeah. He's the Soviet Thor.
And then there's the Schizoid Man. There's a guy who was given, he was grafted on with stem cells from Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, an X-Men character, a mutant. With the ability to duplicate himself.
I think it's been canon now for a while that if you just take cells from a mutant, you can just get some of that mutant's powers, because that's what Hank Pym did from Janet to turn himself into Giant Man, and we saw that in Ultimate X-Men a few times, where a few characters have weird powers because they copied mutant powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the case here.
Yeah. They like having Abdul around because he is the first human in decades to actually respond positively to the super soldier serum. They have other super soldier suits for the guys in black tights, but it does say those suits will kill you after a month. So
yeah, they're expendable, throwaway soldiers. They're cannon fodder.
Yeah, there's a grotesque scene of them melting into their suits or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's brutal. It's a dark mirror to the super soldier program that S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Ultimates have been going through, especially with the Ultimate Reserves that we saw, where Nick Fury has been trying over and over again to get people to become the next Captain America and to get someone whose body is compatible with the super soldier serum, and so many people have died because of that.
They also have a big map of where they're going to strike, so they took out all the big cities, all the S.H.I.E.L.D. bases, military bases, and they also mentioned once they take the nukes, they're going to use them to subdue the European Union. So
yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they're yep, a month from now we're going to take out the U.S. noon on Eastern Standard Time.
It's always Eastern Standard Time.
Well, they're attacking New York, so
yeah, but it's like how this podcast is run.
Don't they also attack Chicago, DC, and LA?
Yeah, that's how they take the political power. They say, I think they mentioned LA, but they strike all over the U.S. And yeah,
but New York is the most important one of all, of course, and DC.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah, New York is the most important city in the world, right?
Yeah,
everybody knows that.
I thought that was just common knowledge.
I guess the UN is there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and we cut to the present day when we see Hank Pym with the Liberators. He has been working with them. Of course, he is, surprised that they went to this scale. But I'm like, buddy, what did you expect?
Seriously, this man is such a loser.
Yeah. It's interesting too because he is actually using his Ultrons to quote unquote keep the peace.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of little Ultron robots running around just hurting civilians.
There is also this great joke where they're we should impose elections on them, because I heard their current president was elected illegitimately because Bush v. Gore just happened, where Bush was elected under odd circumstances at the time.
Yeah. Again, it's scarily relevant to today. They were we should give Americans free elections because they don't have that.
Yeah.
And it's they're using violence and force to do that. But also, that's true. We haven't had free and fair elections in a really long time. So.
Yeah, I mean, yikes. The Electoral College springs to mind and the whole discussion around that, so...
Yeah.
Well, we aren't the only country with one.
I know.
It doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
And then They send Hurricane, who has super speed, to go and try and find the president, but Hurricane just finds, I don't know who that is, in the
It's
White
not Dick
House.
Cheney.
I was
That's what
hoping
I
it was.
thought too.
I was
Wait,
hoping it
stop.
was Dick Cheney.
Me too.
Why do you guys hate Dick Cheney?
Everybody hates Dick Cheney.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I were a member of the same union. Fun fact.
At the same time.
Not at the same time, no.
Josh is like, how old do you think I am?
Yeah, how
I don't
old do you
know.
think I am?
I can just see Josh buddying with Dick Cheney,
What?
unknowing, like...
Josh, how could you do that?
Well, he does have a
Hmm.
marvelous personality. I've listened to his interviews.
See what I mean?
Well, look, Nabeel, I don't
Traitor.
want to be that guy. He did come to our university.
Yeah, but I wasn't there for that.
So you have to be nice to him. Yeah, Nabeel wasn't even there. Come on, Josh.
But it's not Dick Cheney because we've seen Dick Cheney in this series and he's drawn differently. Also,
Okay.
he has no hair.
But point being, they can't find the president, so they're shit out of luck there.
Yeah.
But Abdul wants to find the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and dig up Captain America from his cell to publicly execute them all.
And it's also sad because the X-Men aren't even friends with the S.H.I.E.L.D. government.
Yeah,
With the U.S. government and S.H.I.E.L.D.
yeah, they've cut ties with them, but they're like, you know what? Let's just round them all up. Anyone with extra powers. Let's find that Spider-Man guy in Queens while we're at it.
Yikes. No, please tell me they don't. Protect.
They did find Fury. He's missing an arm, but they're saying, like, we're going to take good care of him, give him good medicine, and then kill him.
He's missing an arm? I totally
Yeah.
missed that. Oh
Yeah,
my
he
God.
lost an arm.
So now he's one eye and one arm?
It's
Yeah.
rough.
He's heading towards pirate. Like, guys, it's serious.
Yeah, he'll have a peg leg next.
I love a... Oh,
Not to
Natasha,
be ableist.
meanwhile, has Tony at gunpoint, and he goes, how much money did they give you? And she goes, like, nothing. I just did it for the love of the game. I hate what America did to Mother Russia. Which is such a stereotypical, like, 90s, 2000s way of, like, portraying a Russian going, like, they just saying Mother Russia every other time.
Yeah, the hot Russian lady is always evil, as is the
Yeah.
stereotype in media like this.
of
Yeah.
course. She...
And it's revealed, just, like you and I talked about, Nabeel, she's shrekking Tony Stark, saying she's
Yeah.
into men who are alcoholic and have cancer.
I'm sorry, explain, please.
Oh, you didn't listen to our episode where we talk about Shrekking?
Yeah, his mom liked the call. He has a cutscene of me explaining shrekking, and his mom liked it. So Nabeel's mom officially knows what shrekking is.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
can I join the club? Because what is shrekking?
Shrekking
Josh?
is when you're a woman and you specifically date an uglier man because it gives you a form of dominance over him, and because like she's dating beyond his level, so you are like the dominant person in that relationship, and
So shouldn't it be called Fiona-ing? Because she's the one doing it?
Well,
Well-
Shrekking sounds better. And
Yeah.
the name of the movie is Shrek, Annika,
Yes.
alright? It's not called Fiona.
Oh, is that what it... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not called Fiona Forever After, alright? It's not
Yeah,
Fiona
and
the
again,
Third.
why is that? Why is it that
It's
they
not
gotta
Fiona
put a
the
man's
Halls.
name on it?
Well,
'Cause it's
Shrek's
about
the main
Shrek.
Everyone to care
character.
about it.
If you, by the way, the joke is there's a Spider-Man meme about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, MJ goes, I'm the main character. Spider-Man goes, well, it's not called MJ3, it's Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's aggressive. I thought you meant that MJ dates Peter because he's ugly.
that too.
That's
But
what
I
Josh
think-
thinks, but Peter Parker is
No.
not ugly.
He's hot in every universe.
No!
2 out of 3, Josh. 2 out of
Yeah.
3.
You're
But-
it again.
There's an episode where I explain Shrekking to Nabeel because there isn't an Ultimate Fantastic Four. Ultimate Sue does go, I am dating Ultimate Reed, partially because I am more attracted than him.
Yeah.
She's
So-
not saying he's ugly.
Oh no, she says she actually, I think she does call him ugly, like in that, like the next panel or something.
She
so.
doesn't explicitly call him that, but that's sort of the understanding.
Yeah.
So Sue is Shrekking Reed in this universe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that just called like dating up or
Dating down. Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Shrekking sounds funnier.
But you're dating down explicitly with the idea of like you are the more
Right.
powerful
for
person
power.
in there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, women, we have to take power somehow. You know what I mean? Like
By
any way
shrekking.
we can get it. By shrekking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Listen,
Yeah.
if we were really equal, then there would be no more shrekking.
Damn. Ain't that
Yeah.
the truth? Put that on a motivational poster.
Yeah.
Feminism.
hmm No more shrekking.
Yeah. Just like put like a meme of Wanda Maximoff saying no more mutants, but replace it with no more Shrekking.
Do it. It'll go viral.
But speaking of taking control, Tony then flips the table, turns the tables on Natasha, because then she is holding him at gunpoint, but she starts doubling over in pain. And it turns out, so Natasha has nanites in her blood that helps her control the Iron Man suit that Tony gave her. But because Tony created them and he also uses them for his Iron Man armor, he controls the nanites. So he takes control of the nanites in Natasha's body to like shut her down. And also he downloads all of her knowledge into his brain. Listen, do you want me to explain how this works? Because I can't fully. But nanites, okay?
I kind of want you to try though.
No.
Well, in
Nanites.
the 2000s, we
Nanites.
just use nanites for everything in sci-fi.
That's like a catch-all.
Yeah.
Like technology just works because of
mean, yeah, though I think right now most of what nanites do is to make drugs and clean. They're really good at apparently cleaning up certain like chemicals so far. So we're really getting there.
Yeah.
Is that what was in like Agent Cody Banks? You know, the little things that clean up like the oil spill.
Yeah. I think that's the extent of so far what nanites can do. That and some drug purposes for like doctors.
Crazy.
But yeah, he then just like smacks Black Widow across the face with a champagne bottle.
Yeah.
Like breaks it against her face. And I'm like, damn, brutal.
Yeah. Also just a weird way for like, I feel like a male writer to write like a quote unquote safe way for him to beat women with.
Yeah, I'm like, yikes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, there's no safe way.
Like, and he goes like, honey, I've had 5,000 failed relationships, and billionaires don't get rich off of being stupid, and I wrote in the script, that's what trillionaires are for, baby.
Yeah.
Have those now.
Yeah, because I read that line and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know if that's entirely true.
It's not true anymore. Maybe it used to be true, but
but now we have trillionaires to be stupid.
Yeah.
This is a cool scene for Tony because then he like uses his intelligence to get the upper hand. Like he gets all his guys like Happy Hogan in, and he's like, "All right, come on, boys, we got work to do. Let's go."
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Back in the dungeon, the guy who was torturing Clint goes like, and this is Colonel Dragodov. This is a Yugoslavian war criminal that Clint like stabbed in Croatia in the 90s when we bombed Yugoslavia. So he just goes, I'm going to torture Clint. But Clint rips out his own toenails and fingernails and throws him in a specific way that kills all the guards and the Yugoslavian colonel.
So unnecessarily violent and gross. Like
that
why?
Is the early 2000s. Why? That's Mark Millar for you. So unnecessarily violent and gross.
Ever needed to see that ever in my life.
I'm also like, all right, I get how this is like a quote-unquote badass and cool moment, but like how effective would this really be? Flinging his fingernails? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, how fast? Like the velocity to actually do damage would have to be so...
There's animals that could do that, and when they do it, it hurts. Just saying.
What animals?
Well, like people say, I know they don't really, but people say porcupines shoot their own spikes out.
They don't.
They don't control say that.
Are you thinking of
Pokemon?
Just
people say it doesn't make it true.
If you watch a movie with porcupines in it, the porcupine always shoots its needles out.
Are you talking about like animated
movies?
movies?
Movies aren't real.
What else? There's must be an animal that shoots stuff.
Yeah, Pokemon probably.
Well, there's an octopus that shoots part of its body out that is so damaging it kills it.
You mean like ink?
No. There's an octopus that will shoot out a chunk of its body at each other.
Either way, I don't think flinging your fingernails is really gonna get the job done.
I thought it was cool.
I mean, it reads cool, but then you think about it for 2 seconds and you're like, I'm just going to have to suspend disbelief.
You don't have the eyes of an eagle like Hawkeye.
You mean eyes of a hawk?
Oh, that's...
Yeah, you know Eagle Eye. That's what they call him.
Yeah, old Eagle Eye, Clint Barton.
Okay, eyes
that's
of...
what
you messed up. You run a comics podcast.
It was sitting right in front of you, Josh.
Well, I don't have the eyes of an eagle nor a hawk. But it's a cool move. I think you guys are being critical of the fingernail.
Either way, then he breaks free. He like kills the doctor, and then like a bunch of soldiers run in, and they're like, "The prisoners escaped," but he's got a gun, and they're like, "Don't let him get to it." Yeah, he has several guns, and it's all over because this man could kill you with his fingernails, apparently. So as soon as you literally hand him, like he was killing people with forks and knives before.
Yeah.
Actual guns are in front of him, they're dead.
Yeah, which is why I like him better than, maybe not comic Green Arrow, but more than TV show Green Arrow.
Yeah,
wait for our CW retrospective episode.
We gotta get in touch with India about that one.
Oh, it's just watch them?
Yes, we've talked about that on several occasions. The CW DC shows.
We've, on this podcast, we talked about doing a retrospective on the CW shows, but
I hope it's CW shows that like aren't about superheroes. Like it's just Riverdale or something.
Riverdale was actually a comic originally, so why not?
It was, that's true. I feel like it's related.
Archie comics.
Yeah.
Betty and Veronica.
I
Archie
have
and
some
Jughead.
Archie comics. back there on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
I've
all
not read
watch
any.
Riverdale and then reconvene.
No, I've seen enough of Riverdale. I'm not watching
Josh is
enough.
just gonna watch the pilot and then say he's seen the whole show.
I have no. I've not watched the show like extensively, but I like walked in on friends watching and watched like episodes with them, and it is like, isn't this like a high school comic? Like, why is there witches and gangs now?
You don't ask questions about it. You just
I'm
accept
too
it.
confused. I draw the line at Riverdale. We're not doing a Riverdale. I mean, yeah, I guess we can, but I prefer not to do a Riverdale comic episode.
Apologies to Camila Mendez.
Maybe she shouldn't dance in the middle of LA.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And apologies to India, who did deliver a PowerPoint on Riverdale, and I know exactly how crazy it gets, and that would be a shit show of us talking about it.
I know all about Riverdale because my friends have watched it, and I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty much Riverdale.
at the end of this issue, then, Captain America is locked up in the Triskelion, and, you know, the Liberators get to him, and they're like, look at the great Captain America, yada, yada, yada. But then they spot the Wasp, who they think is attempting to free Captain America, so they, like, get her back to normal size, and they start attacking her and calling her pathetic.
Natasha calls her pathetic.
Yeah, but then she's like, hey, I, like, released him already. I released Captain America 5 minutes ago, which is very much pulling like an Ozymandias from Watchmen, like I did it 35 minutes ago. And
It was cool. I kind of liked it.
it's
Yeah.
a really cool
It
moment.
was
Like
cheeky.
it's already done. Like you're too late. And the issue ends on like a splash page of Captain America's like angry face and holding his fist, being like, "Get away from my girlfriend." Which cool moment, but you guys aren't really together anymore, you know?
Is she your girlfriend? I don't
Yeah,
think
like-
so. She's having an affair with her ex-husband. So.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he knows that, so.
Yeah, he's not aware that she left him.
In his mind, they're together forever.
Yeah, like what? I thought we were still together.
Yeah.
That's the moment she chooses to break up with him.
Yeah, I mean, there's been worse.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, see what I did there? This is a pretty good like ending for this issue, because now I feel like the next few issues, the final few issues of this series are going to be the comeback. It is going to be like the Ultimates fighting back and taking like things back from the Liberators, because you saw Iron Man already planning to like take the fight back to them. You see Captain America being freed by the Wasp. So it seems like there is going to be a big major comeback in these last few issues.
Yeah, and hopefully the Ultimates then have a good sit down and have a good retrospective about their actions and how it led to all this.
Yeah.
Totally. The military loves to do that.
Yeah, they love to reflect on their mistakes.
Well, it's called an after action report. Fun fact. So
Yeah, and when has that ever done anything?
Yeah, when has that ever done anyone any good in history?
fun fact, you could read all the a lot of the after action reports of the wars we lost.
I prefer not to.
I think it would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually wraps it up for this time for these issues. Do you guys have any final thoughts on these issues?
Go ahead, Josh. You look like you have so much to say.
No, I was staring at my dog because she's making a weird mess. But you guys heard my thoughts. I think it was a bunch of fun issues. It's been a while since we read Ultimates, and I think this would hit differently if we were there on in 2004. And you're reading this 1 month each time after it comes out. But
Yeah.
It's been like a hiatus for us when it comes to the Ultimates. But overall, I think it's a pretty good comic. It is a bit... The characters are always, with the Ultimates, a bit off, which always does put a screw in things, and it's a little outdated. Everyone's a bit more horn-doggy. But overall, I think it was good, and I do want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And I think your dog Boring agrees with us, Josh.
Yeah, she's dying to know after that cliffhanger. But I agree. I think that with the arc of the Liberators, they're almost like the anti-Ultimates.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting comparison because it kind of asks the question, who are the real heroes and the real villains? And where do you draw the line when they start assuming kind of absolute power?
Yeah.
Not just in their own country, but of the whole world, and who should check that power and everything. So yeah, I think it was interesting.
I think what makes this arc so good and so problematic at times is that it's a lot more relevant politically of its time in a way that Marvel comics usually are not. Not that they're not political. Like Captain America once gave up being Captain America because of Richard Nixon, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
The 70s were a wild time.
He
I know.
resigned when Nixon resigned.
No, he resigned over Watergate, saying he doesn't want to fight for an America led by good, honest Dick.
Well, actually, what happened in the comics was there was a story arc about a secret empire in the 70s in the Steve Englehart Captain America run. And at the end, it was revealed that the secret leader of the secret empire was actually the President of the United States, which was never explicitly said, but heavily implied to be Nixon. And then after being discovered, the president literally killed himself in front of Captain America. And
What?
And Captain America was so traumatized that he gave up the mantle for a while and became nomad.
So
Oh my
it's because Marvel before like the 90s, like it was exactly as the time was going on. So like like Ed Koch and Abe Beam
She is so vocal today.
Yeah, it's the cat. Abe Beam and Ed Koch, if you, the mayors of New York are in Marvel Comics. They met the Fantastic Four. Yeah, so a lot of Punisher fought in Vietnam. Yeah, boring.
Chop chop.
She's like, just wrap it up already.
No,
Yeah,
the door's
she's
open.
ready for us to be done.
She can walk in at any time. It's about the cat.
But why now? Why this moment?
Well, it's because my sister has her door open, but she wouldn't let her in because of the cat.
Right.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed these issues. I forgot how much I actually kind of genuinely enjoy a good chunk of the Ultimates, as shocking as that might be to say, despite a lot of the problematic elements that really have not aged well, specifically in terms of how characters are written and relationships are depicted. But the political undertones and ideas behind it are pretty cool and fascinating, the way that it's studied and how the Ultimates are used as this weapon and this almost basic nuclear arsenal. And now there's pushback and retaliation from other countries now that Americans just been throwing around their superhumans. So I am very interested to see how the Ultimates kind of reflect and hopefully change after this, if there is any change. But and I'm interested to see them take on, like you were saying, Annika, the anti-Ultimates, the liberators here, and see more of the similarities and parallels there.
Yeah, I can't wait for the big battle. I think it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see if each one will take on their counterpart. You know, or if they'll mix it up and fight someone else in the group.
I was also gonna say it's also just how the Ultimates are not an upgrade but a modernization of the Avengers of their time. The Liberators are too, to a certain degree. Crimson Dynamo is a Soviet in the original comics, and now he's a Chinese person.
Yeah, the Abomination is also Russian in the original comics, so I think it's funny that they just made the two Russian guys Chinese for some reason.
Well, because
they were we already had Russians, we need Chinese characters.
Yeah. They said diversity.
Well, that's because China is our second Cold War-ish adversary, you know?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Behind the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, behind the Great Wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this time. Next time, if Annika is willing to join us again, we can wrap this up and talk about... I figured splitting this into 2 episodes made sense, because there's just a lot to talk about. The last 3 issues of the Ultimates 2, 11 through 13. But until next time, Josh, where can our listeners email us if they want to get in touch with us about the podcast, the comics we read, or comics in general?
It is ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com, comics plural, podcast singular, ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. And you can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Ultimate Comics Podcast. So we've got images from the comics that we read that we post on Instagram. We got reels there. We also do TikToks and full episodes with video on YouTube. Until next time, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Comics. Bye-bye.
Bye.